Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here and it's time for a haul. So you may be wondering why my face is bright red when I talk to you today. That is because I've just come back from a run. I'm desperately trying to do the Couch to 5k, where you can get an app and it builds you up from not being able to run to being able to run 5k. And I'm currently on week 7 of 8, so I've just started my first sort of 20 minutes runs without a break, and this is what happens. So ignore that and let's get on to the haul. So there's quite a few books here. The first one was one I picked up at a book event, and that is The Good People by Hannah Kent. Hannah Kent wrote Burial Rites, which I was in the minority, I think, and I didn't really enjoy too much. It's set in 1825. It's about a woman who's lost her husband and she's left caring for their grandson. The grandson can't walk or talk, and so people wonder if there's something wrong with him. She's wondering if there's something wrong with him. We have a healer who is obviously frowned upon by the church and comes with some mystery behind her. And we also have a young woman called Mary, who, it says, arrives in the valley just as the whispers are spreading about people thinking that this young boy is a changeling child. So I'm thinking this will probably deal with small towns and superstition and religion. So I'm looking forward to trying it and seeing if I prefer it to Burial Rites. I think it's always really good to give an author a second chance. Next is a book I picked up in a second-hand shop, and it's one that I've been thinking that I'd quite like to read, and when I saw it I thought, why not? And that is The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. So this one says, Lorelei, powerful enchantress, vengeful fugitive, crown princess. She must kill the wicked queen who took both the Ravenspire throne and the life of her father. Irina, dangerous sorceress, ruthless manipulator, poisonous ruler. She must hold the dispatching a dragon-shifting huntsman to cut out Lorelei's heart. But Ravenspire is rotting beneath Irina's dark magic, and the huntsman is at risk of losing his own heart to Lorelei. In this dance of death, there can only be one victor, one queen to rule them all. Mirror, mirror. So I think this is obviously going to be a Snow White retelling. Next is Look at Me by Sarah Duguid. This is the story of a woman who lives with her brother and her father. Their mother has died, and while she's looking through her things, she discovers that there is a letter and that her father has another child. She welcomes and invites this child into their home and realises that this is probably a mistake, and this is what we're learning. It says Lizzie has a sister, she just hasn't met her yet. So let's see what this one has in store. It looks from the front that maybe it's going to be sort of 20s, 30s, but I'm not entirely sure. The next one is The Monstrous Child by Francesca Simon. So in this book we meet Hel. She is a teenager and she is Queen of the Dead. She is the daughter of a giantess and a god, and sister to Fenrir the wolf and Jorgamund the snake, and this is her story, and I'm really excited to get stuck into this one. Next up is The Muse by Jessie Burton. I really love the beautiful cover on this. It's so beautiful, and the story sounds just as intriguing. This sounds like there's lots to go with in this book. It's set in 1967. It's about a woman who's come over 5 years previously from Trinidad. There is a backstory set in Spain, I think, in the 30s. I mean, there's just all sorts going on, so I can't wait to see what I think. I apologise for the noise. My daughter is playing with her grandparents outside, my mum and dad, and they're really noisy. Next up is The Reader on the 627. I've heard lots about this and it sounds very Christmassy. So it's a story of a young man on this particular train, and every day he reads parts of books or things that he has rescued from the pulping place that he works, and one day he reads from a young woman's diary and it changes him in some way. So I'm really intrigued by this one, and I'm hoping it'll be like a heartwarming tale. So next is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and this is a immigration story. It's about a young girl called Natasha who believes in science and facts. She's in New York, she meets a boy, they fall in love, but this is just 12 hours, it says here, away from when they're being deported back to Jamaica. So then you've got Daniel, he's a good student, a good son, and then he meets her and it changes his life too. And I'm really intrigued by this one. I've just read Something in Between by Melissa Dela Cruz, and I was a little bit disappointed. I think I gave it 3 stars, so I'm hoping this will be a good one for me. Next up is The Thing About Jellyfish by Ali Benjamin, and I went to a publishing Christmas party at Macmillan recently, and I was told that this one was brilliant, so when I saw it in a second-hand bookshop, I picked it up. It's the story of a young girl, and she stopped speaking since her best friend has died in a drowning accident. She doesn't believe it can possibly be true. She thinks that something must have happened. There must have been killer jellyfish or something must have happened. And so she retreats into silence, researching jellyfish and formulating a plan, apparently, that will take her across the world to discover the truth about the creatures she's certain took her best friend from her. And I think this is going to be a really wonderful, poignant novel. And then I have A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Barnard. This is a YA contemporary. She wrote Beautiful Broken Things, which is one I've yet to read. It's about a girl who doesn't talk, a boy that can't hear, and how they understand each other perfectly. So I think this just sounds intriguing. And finally, it's a beautiful book that I've joined the bandwagon to find out more about, and that is How to Cougar. And this is by Signe Johansson. It's a beautiful book. It's The Secret of Nordic Living. I've heard it's full of really interesting recipes and beautiful pictures, and it just looks wonderful. So I'm really excited to try this one and see if Cougar is for me. Anyway, that's the books that I've got recently. Have you read any of these? Let me know your thoughts as always, and let's chat in the comments down below. Bye for now, BookTube.